Have you ever walked into a room and felt invisible yet later discovered someone had been watching you with admiration? Or maybe you brushed off compliments, thinking they were just being polite. The truth is, attractiveness isn't always about physical beauty. It's a powerful mix of energy, confidence, empathy, and uniqueness. In Carl Jung's insights into personality and the unconscious reveal that many of us are far more attractive than we realize. In this video, we'll dive deep into 12 hidden signs that you're an attractive person even if you don't see it in yourself. Let's explore these subtle yet powerful traits that make you stand out in ways you never expected. Sign 1. You make people feel seen and heard. There's something quietly powerful about being in the presence of someone who genuinely listens, not out of politeness, but out of a deep, instinctive empathy. When you make people feel seen and heard, you give them a rare gift in a world that often rushes past real connection. Your eye contact isn't fleeting. It lingers just long enough to show that you're fully present. Your responses aren't rehearsed or distracted. They reflect an understanding that goes beyond words. And when people speak to you, they feel as though their thoughts and emotions actually matter. Many people underestimate how attractive this quality is. It's not about physical features or charisma in the traditional sense. It's about emotional presence. You don't just nod along during conversations. You absorb the weight of what's being said. You ask follow-up questions that show you were listening. You don't change the subject when the topic gets uncomfortable. Instead, you lean in with compassion. That kind of presence is rare, and people are drawn to it in ways they don't always consciously understand. Over time, you may notice that others seek you out when they need to talk. Strangers might open up to you unexpectedly. Friends may tell you things they've never said out loud before. It's because being with you makes them feel accepted, safe, and acknowledged, not judged, not overlooked. You see their full humanity, not just their image. Even if you don't always feel confident in your appearance, your ability to make someone feel valued elevates your attractiveness to another level. You create emotional warmth that people remember long after the conversation ends. And in doing so, you become unforgettable not because of how you look, but because of how you made them feel. Sign 2. People are naturally drawn to your presence. There's a quiet magnetism about you, something subtle yet undeniably strong. You might not be the loudest person in the room or the one constantly commanding attention, but people still find themselves gravitating toward you. It's not just about how you look, it's about the energy you give off. There's an aura of calm confidence, authenticity, and warmth that makes others feel comfortable, even if they can't quite explain why. You may notice that people often sit near you without thinking, or they choose to talk to you in social settings even if they don't know you well. Friends and coworkers might describe you as easy to be around or say things like, "I feel like I can be myself with you." That comfort is part of your appeal. You're not putting on a mask or trying to hide, you simply show up as yourself. And that's what draws others in. Carl Jung believed that true attraction isn't just physical, it's deeply psychological. When people feel emotionally safe with you, when your presence reduces their anxiety instead of adding to it, they unconsciously want to stay close. Your body language is relaxed and open. Your tone is gentle and inviting. You don't dominate the conversation, but when you speak, it carries meaning. You're not trying to impress anyone, and ironically, that's what makes you so impressive. What's fascinating is that you may not even realize this is happening. You might chalk it up to being friendly or polite, but the truth is, this kind of emotional magnetism is rare. It signals emotional intelligence, self-awareness, and the ability to attune yourself to others' qualities that are incredibly attractive. Even if they don't show up in a mirror, you don't need to say much to be noticed. People pick up on your vibe without even realizing it. And in a world full of noise, your calm and genuine presence becomes something people seek out and remember. Sign 3. People open up to you easily. Have you ever noticed that people tend to tell you things they wouldn't normally share with others? Even strangers or acquaintances might begin sharing their personal struggles, feelings, or life stories with you without much prompting. This isn't a coincidence. It's a sign of emotional attractiveness. People instinctively sense that you're someone who will understand, not judge. This kind of openness doesn't come from manipulation or charm. It's rooted in something much deeper: trust. You give off the impression that you're safe, empathetic, and grounded. You listen without rushing to offer solutions or advice. You allow silence to exist in conversation, and you don't interrupt when someone is being vulnerable. This creates emotional space for others to be themselves. Carl Jung spoke about the collective unconscious shared psychological truths we all carry. One of those truths is that we all crave connection and understanding. When someone sees you as a person who makes that possible, it's a powerful attraction, even if they can't articulate why. You might not even try to draw people out, they just do it on their own. That's because they can feel, intuitively, that you won't weaponize their pain or use their stories against them. You're the kind of person others feel better around, and that in itself is a rare and beautiful trait. Sign 4. You're not afraid to be different. In a world where everyone is trying to fit in, your quiet confidence in being yourself stands out. You may not follow trends. You may not feel the need to please everyone. And you're okay with saying no when something doesn't align with your values. That self-assurance is incredibly attractive. What makes this trait even more powerful is that you're not rebellious for the sake of rebellion. You simply know who you are, what matters to you, and you don't compromise your integrity for approval. This makes people admire you, even if they don't always agree with you. Jung emphasized individuation, the process of becoming your true self. People who are attractive in this way often walk a unique path. They're not afraid of solitude. They're not desperate for applause. And that calm self-possession is captivating. Others sense that you're not easily shaken, and that kind of emotional stability draws people in. You don't have to announce that you're different. People can see it in how you move through the world. There's strength in your quiet confidence, and it makes others stop and take notice even if you're not trying to be noticed at all. Sign 5. You have a strong sense of purpose. You don't need to have everything figured out, but there's something about the way you carry yourself that shows you're connected to a deeper purpose. Whether it's your work, your art, your values, or your desire to help others, there's a spark in your eyes when you talk about what matters to you. That inner fire is magnetic. Attractive people often radiate a kind of direction even when life is chaotic. They may not know exactly where they're going, but they're grounded in why they're moving forward. This clarity of intent makes them captivating. It tells the world, I'm not here to drift. I'm here to grow, to learn, to build. Carl Jung believed that purpose was essential to psychological health. He described the human need for meaning as a spiritual drive, something that shapes who we become. When you're living with purpose, even in small ways, you become more aligned, more intentional, and more alive. That energy is beautiful, and others are drawn to it. Even if you're quiet or reserved, your passion is visible. It's in your actions, your words, your choices, and people feel inspired simply by being around you. That inspiration, it's a powerful form of attractiveness. Sign 6. You're comfortable in your own skin. There's nothing more appealing than someone who's at peace with themselves. You don't pretend to be flawless. You don't chase validation. You own your quirks, your past, your imperfections, and that self-acceptance gives others permission to do the same. Attractiveness isn't about perfection. It's about authenticity. When you're comfortable in your own skin, it shows in how you walk, how you laugh, how you speak. You're not trying to impress anyone, you're just being you. And ironically, that's what makes people want to be around you. Carl Jung often emphasized the shadow, the hidden parts of ourselves we try to suppress. But when you've acknowledged your own shadow and made peace with it, you become more whole. And wholeness is magnetic. People don't know why, but they sense it. They feel more secure around someone who isn't pretending. You may not think of yourself as especially attractive, but your comfort with who you are sends out a signal that says, I don't need to perform, I'm real. And in a world obsessed with image, that kind of realness is rare and deeply attractive. Sign 7. People tell you their secrets without really knowing why. There's something about you, something people can't quite explain, but they feel it the moment they sit near you. Maybe it's your eyes, maybe your energy, or maybe the quiet patience you bring into a space. Whatever it is, people find themselves opening up to you in ways they never intended. They begin sharing stories from their childhood, traumas they've never spoken out loud, dreams they've kept hidden, or regrets they've never processed. And often, they do it without even understanding why. This isn't about being nosy or manipulative. In fact, you may not even ask them anything too personal. You might just be there, nodding softly, making eye contact, and simply listening without judgment. That's what makes the space around you feel safe. It's like you carry an invisible sign that says, you can be real here. You don't have to pretend. Carl Jung would have said that your energy resonates with the unconscious parts of others, the deeper layers of their psyche they often keep buried. These are the layers where pain hides, where memories sit untouched, and where the most authentic truths live. When someone senses, even unconsciously, that you are connected to your own emotional world, that you faced your shadows and embraced your truth, it gives them permission to do the same. Without even meaning to, they begin unburdening themselves. You might walk away from conversations wondering, why did they tell me all that? It happens in coffee shops, on late-night walks, during brief encounters with people you barely know. And the answer is simple: because they felt seen. Not judged, not analyzed, not fixed, just deeply, truly seen. And that kind of presence is rare. What makes it even more magnetic is that you don't force it. You're not looking to play therapist. You're just being yourself, calm, grounded, and open. You listen with your whole presence. And that quiet sincerity draws people in more than charm or words ever could. This quality is not just attractive, it's healing. In a world full of noise, agendas, and shallow connections, being someone who holds space for honesty and vulnerability makes you unforgettable. You're not just someone they talk to. You're someone they trust. And that trust is the very reason they reveal parts of themselves they didn't even plan to share. And so, the next time someone tells you something deeply personal out of the blue, don't be surprised. It's just your energy doing what it always does, drawing out the truth with grace, compassion, and warmth. Sign 8. You're often misunderstood, but people can't ignore you. There's a strange paradox about being genuinely attractive, not just in appearance, but in depth and presence. And that is why people are drawn to you. They don't always understand you. They might project their assumptions onto you, think you're mysterious, hard to read, or even intimidating. And yet, they can't look away. They might not know exactly what it is about you, but your energy lingers. You live in their memory long after you've left the room. This misunderstanding happens because you don't fit into a box. You're not easily labeled or defined. You don't always say what people expect. And you carry yourself with a kind of quiet independence that can puzzle those who seek predictable behavior. Some may try to figure you out, while others may judge you too quickly, but none of them can truly ignore you. You might have noticed this from a young age, that feeling of being different, even if you couldn't explain why. You weren't trying to be eccentric. You were just being yourself. And while some admired you for it, others may have reacted with confusion or distance. That's the double edge of being someone with depth. The more layers you have, the more people need time to see you clearly. Carl Jung often spoke about the idea of the shadows of the parts of us that society or our own fears keep hidden. When you are someone who has faced your own shadows or carries an unconscious connection to those deeper layers, you reflect back to others what they have not yet processed in themselves. This can stir both admiration and discomfort in people. But here's the truth: people feel your authenticity, even if they can't articulate it. Your quiet confidence, your calm gaze, your refusal to follow the crowd, all of that commands respect. Even when others don't understand you, they sense that there's something real beneath the surface. And that sense becomes magnetic. Being misunderstood can feel lonely at times. You might wish more people got you without having to explain so much. But remember, those who take the time to look past the surface, those who pause, listen, and truly see you leave a lasting impression on them. You'll become the kind of person they remember during quiet moments, the kind of soul they measure others against. So, if you've ever felt like you don't quite fit in, but people are still drawn to you, know this: that tension is not a flaw. It's a reflection of your uniqueness. Sign 9. Strangers often stare at you, even if you don't know why. You're walking into a room, down the street, or sitting quietly on public transport, and you catch someone staring, not just a quick glance, but a prolonged gaze. Sometimes it feels random. Other times it catches you off guard. You wonder, did I do something strange? Is there something on my face? But what's happening is much deeper than that. When you're genuinely attractive, not just physically, but energetically, people can feel it. There's something about your aura, your presence, your calm or confident demeanor, that draws attention without you even trying. It's not always about beauty in the conventional sense. It's about a frequency you emit. People sense you. Carl Jung described this phenomenon in terms of projection. People unconsciously see something in you, something they're curious about, something they desire, or something they don't understand in themselves. So when strangers stare, it's often because you've triggered something in their subconscious. You've sparked intrigue, admiration, envy, or even longing. You may be someone who doesn't crave attention. In fact, you might be the quiet one in the room, observing more than speaking. But your presence speaks louder than words. The way you hold yourself, perhaps it's your posture, your eyes, or your composed silence makes people pause. Some look at you and wonder who you are. Others may not even know why they're looking. It's instinctive. This can be confusing at times. When you don't see yourself as special, when you're humble or even insecure, the attention can feel strange. You might brush it off or try to make yourself smaller. But the truth is, you can't hide energy, and you shouldn't have to. Strangers stare because you stand out, not in a loud or attention-seeking way, but in an undeniable, quiet magnetism. You carry yourself with a kind of authenticity that's rare. You're not following trends. You're not trying to fit into someone else's idea of what's normal. You just are, and that's powerful. So the next time you notice someone's eyes lingering on you, don't overthink it. Don't rush to find a flaw in yourself. Instead, remind yourself this is what presence looks like. You don't need to perform. You don't need to prove anything. Just by being, you're felt. And that's a sign of real, deep-rooted attractiveness. Sign 10. You have a magnetic smile, or gaze that people remember. You may not even realize it, but when you smile, people feel something shift. It's not forced. It's not plastic. It's not performative. It's genuine, warm, and quietly powerful. It's the kind of smile that doesn't just move lips, it softens the air in the room. People remember it even long after you've left. Your eyes do the same. There's a presence in them. When you look at someone, you see them, not just their surface, but something more. And they feel it. They may not be able to articulate it, but there's a moment of connection they can't forget. This is often what Carl Jung would interpret as a projection of the anima, or animus. A person sees in you something deeply familiar, possibly even symbolic. Your gaze carries intensity, but not in a threatening way. It holds truth, emotion, awareness. You don't scan the room like you're looking for approval. You look like you already know yourself, and that makes others pause. A magnetic gaze is not about seduction. It's about being fully present. People sense when someone isn't distracted or fake. If people have told you they felt seen or felt calm around you, your gaze is likely part of it. And your smile, not necessarily perfect or symmetrical, holds a most rare. It's an energy transmission, a frequency people can't forget. Sign 11. You're often underestimated. Until you speak. You might walk into a room and not immediately command attention. You don't always try to dominate the space. In fact, you may even like blending in. But something strange happens when you finally speak or share your thoughts suddenly. The room shifts. People look at you differently. They lean in, they listen. This is one of the clearest signs of an attractive person who doesn't conform to superficial norms. You're quietly powerful. People might initially judge you by your modesty or silence, thinking you're just another person. But the moment you reveal your mind, your clarity, humor, empathy, insight, they realize they underestimated you. Carl Jung wrote about the shadow, the hidden or repressed self. People often project their shadows onto others, assuming limitations. But when you reveal who you really are, it surprises them, not because you were hiding, but because they weren't ready. This speaks to your authenticity. You don't need to prove yourself. You don't need to impress anyone. You wait for the right time, and when you speak, it's meaningful. This kind of power, the ability to go from invisible to unforgettable, is a deep form of attraction. Sign 12. You attract both admiration, jealousy without trying. One of the most paradoxical signs of attractiveness is how people respond to you. You'll notice that some people admire you deeply. They're drawn to you, want to be around you, even feel comforted or inspired by your presence. But then there are others, often unexpectedly, who act distant, cold, or even antagonistic. And you wonder, what did I do wrong? The answer is nothing. Your presence, authenticity, and quiet confidence stir something in people. For many, it's admiration because they recognize your inner beauty, your calm strength, your compassion. But for others, it unconsciously reminds them of what they lack. Your peace reminds them of their chaos. Your self-acceptance mirrors their self-doubt, and they respond with envy or discomfort. Carl Jung taught us that people project their inner world outward. When someone dislikes you without reason, they're often reacting to a part of themselves they haven't made peace with. You simply reflect it. Being truly attractive means triggering both admiration and resistance. And it's not your job to fix how others feel. What matters is staying true to who you are. When you're aligned with your values, when your energy is grounded, when you radiate love without seeking approval, you naturally polarize. People feel your energy, and not everyone knows how to handle it. But that's a powerful sign. You're not forgettable. You leave an impact. Being memorable just by being is the rarest kind of attractiveness. Conclusion. You don't need a mirror to measure your worth. Often, the most attractive qualities are the ones that can't be seen but are deeply felt. If even one of these 12 signs spoke to you, understand this: you are already radiating something powerful. Whether it's your empathy, your independence, or your authenticity, your presence leaves an impact. So stop doubting yourself. Attraction isn't about what you look like, it's about how you make others feel, and how aligned you are with your true self. That's what Jung believed. That's what you are, unforgettable. If this video resonated with you, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs this message. Let us know in the comments which sign described you best. And don't forget to hit the bell so you never miss another powerful insight on self-growth and personal power.